Today we're going to discuss the T&M method, which is the blueprint for your tomorrow. It's an OD&C change method that was developed through the EMOD program at the Bowling Green State University in the class ORGD 6060 with Dr. Steve Cady. To begin, I'll do an introduction of the method. A quote that comes to mind that I think of when I go to start talking about this is "Status quo, is the Latin for the mess we're in," and that was said by Ronald Reagan. The world around us is full of problems that need solutions, direction, and guidance. The concept of whole-scale change is to provide that direction and ways to move and improve an organization in a positive direction. These problems become more efficient with the workforce that is part of the changes and solutions. The whole system change is taking the experience, history, knowledge, and intellectual property and desires of the people to make the change possible. Like the many methods currently used, the T&M method allows the user of a small organization to look at a bigger picture but on a smaller scale, where a single person is the change champion along with wearing multiple hats in an organization, or an individual that is CEO of a business called U Incorporated. For example, to give you an idea of where this method could be used, for example, you are an aspiring middle manager in an organization that has outlined that they need to have a master's degree to pursue an upper management position. You do not have a master's degree. What do you do? What will it take to accomplish? Who do you talk to? Is that really the direction that you want to strive towards? All these questions are legitimate and valid. What steps do you take to answer those questions? Now that a direction for personal growth is defined, what do you do to meet that objective? What steps are needed? To answer those questions, the T&M method can be used to determine with a little determination and guidance by following the framework that will be discussed here in a few moments. The T&M method provides a blueprint to answer those questions. The term time and material is a commonly used term in the construction industry, which is how a project can be built out. The concept behind a time and material contract is that the contractor is paid for the amount of labor and equipment that has been utilized for a project, and then the materials are billed accordingly as they were used. With the time and material contract, there's flexibility in the project where the scope of work can be adjusted without affecting the project overall if it has been a firm bid project. Similar to that change, this T&M method is the same way, that the time is the time that you put into the project, and the materials are the resources and thoughts and ideas that you have for your personal development journey. The first design element in the T&M method is the system. The system is described as the characteristics of the change method. This would be the settings, the boundaries, the size, the structure, and the industry. The T&M method can be used in many conditions and situations, such as when an individual desires to grow personally, or when a strategic plan is needed for a one-man band. Across numerous industries that are really limitless with this method due to its flexibility in design. Ideally, the change method is designed for a group of 1 that could go up to 10, but as you increase in numbers of participants, it becomes more difficult when you're dealing with the mentor that will be part of one of the phases in the method. The ideal settings is whenever an individual or group are the most comfortable and able to devote uninterrupted time to brainstorm and develop the SWOT analysis and move into the do-it phase. Unlike a whole-scale change method, the structure of the method is less formal due to this flexibility where the method can be implemented and developed. The formality will be driven by the industry and the environment that you'll be working for. For example, if the goal was to meet with the CEO of XYZ company at a business function, the structure would be more formal as compared to a meeting with your cohort for a beer after class to discuss a new project. The second design element is the purpose. When evaluating the purpose of the time and material method, it can be described as the why of the change method. Why am I going to use this why am I going to use this method over another method? And what can I expect from the change? Lastly, how different will I be or better off from using the time and material method? This quote here sums it up by Albert Einstein. If you always do what you always did, you always get what you always got. The method provides a blueprint to guide the person to move from what you've always done and what you've always got to a new stage in their life or career. When the T&M method is used, an individual will have a direction to move that enables them to grow as a person, leader, or teacher. The next design element of the time and material method is the journey. This is the actual steps that you will take through this roadmap. The first phase is called the existing phase, which is basically that's what that is saying is where are you at right now? It's your current state. And in your current state, you'll do a SWOT analysis, which will determine your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Once you determine what those are, they'll dictate your goals and objectives, which you can work towards in the mobilization stage. But before we get to that, we will move into the mentor stage, which is part of the existing phase. And in the mentor phase, there's a 3-step process that takes place. There's an examination process, a characteristics process, and a search process. And each one of those, it answers specific questions of who the mentor needs to look like, what do you want them to do, and then, is that the direction that you want to go? In the mobilization stage, a term called DOIT will be introduced, and that's DOIT. And what that stands for is the D is for define. Define your goals. What do you want to do? Your objectives. How are you going to reach there? How are you going to reach those goals? The implement stage is the action steps, and then finally we have the time, is where you'll put time to each action step and make it accountable by placing it on a calendar. Finally, we'll move into the inspection phase of the process. And within the inspection phase, there's 4 appraisals that'll take place. First will be a self-appraisal, and that'll ask questions such as, are you satisfied? How am I now? Am I better or worse? What do I still need to do? Then we move into the learning appraisal. What was learned from the process? What do you still need to learn? The third appraisal is results. What were the outcomes and were they met? If not, what went wrong? Finally, we move into the future appraisal. What needs to be done in the future? What goals are to continue? What resources should be investigated? As the method is utilized to achieve the defined goals, there are some basic durations for the phases and steps to keep in mind as you move along through the process. The times are estimated, and that is in the existing phase, you can expect us to roughly spend a week on the SWOT analysis. Your mentor phase is going to take a little bit more time, which is you're looking at a week to 2 months, but that's going to depend on outside forces such as mentors, location, and your networking capabilities. The mobilization phase, which contains the do it steps, is 1 to 6 months. And then finally, the inspection phase is a week to reflect on what you've done. Next, we're going to move into the evidence element of the time and material method. And like the picture says, the science is wet cement, but there's always somebody that still wants to take the steps in and see if it's really wet. And that's where the SWOT analysis evidence comes into this. It's a process that was developed in the 60s and 70s, and it is something that is still used widely in organizations today. It's a simple tool that can get the ball rolling and can be also used as a strategic strategization tool. The experience I bring to this method is that this journey is similar to what I've been working on in the last 18 months in my professional career and also in my personal development by attending the Bowling Green State University for my master's degree in organizational development. The fifth design element of the T&M method is the values. These are the foundation of who you are and what you are comprised of. The values are the internal thoughts and processes that you have on a daily basis. They could be looked at as the driving forces behind your thoughts. The first one is believe. This is important that you are capable of achieving the goals and outcomes that you see in the blueprint. You have to have faith in yourself that you'll be able to take that you can do what you set out to do. I have a couple quotes here I'm going to add to each one of these also. And to believe, if an egg is broken by an outside force, life ends. If broken by an inside force, life begins. Great things always begin from the inside. Always believe in yourself. The next value is trust. This value is a verification that the purpose and outcomes determined in the existing stage when the SWOT analysis is done, that they are the right outcomes for whatever blueprint is being developed. I have a quote for you also. A bird sitting on a tree branch is never afraid of the branch breaking because her trust is not in the branch, but on its own wings. Always trust in yourself. The third value is confidence. Confidence is believing in your own ability and knowing you are capable of achieving your goals. This confidence is noticeable from the action in itself to trying to create a personal or career growth by using the T&M method. You already know you are capable of achieving greatness and have the ability because you are looking at the change method. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won before you have started. Always have confidence in yourself. Next, we move into the model. The T&M method is a blueprint for an individual to follow that is searching for a way to develop and implement personal or career goals. The term blueprint is used in relationship to how a home or a building is constructed. In a construction project, the blueprint is the documents that show the contractors the steps needed to complete a project. In the T&M method, this is similar to that because it provides the steps to achieve the desired outcomes. And that's shown in the center of the circle with the SWOT, the do it, and the appraisal. The method is capable of being placed on a fast track or a slower pace, whichever is driven by the user. The method also contains worksheets that can be used to collect or organize the data for a streamlined and easy to follow process. These key visuals of the model are the circle on the interior of the blueprint. The reason for the circle is to depict that the process continues with no end. There was always chance and opportunity to improve or continue the personal learning and growth in a person. The three arrows add a sense of direction along with the circle to represent that progression. Next, we were going to move into how we're going to look at selling the approach. The product is the T&M method, and it's a detailed blueprint for an individual that is wanting to improve themselves personally, either in their life or career. The T&M method has features built in that helps provide steps and actions to achieve those goals. The next P in the marketing mix is place. The T&M method has been designed so it can be worked at in an environment that is comfortable and convenient, such as at a home, local coffee shop, or a place of employment, depending on what goal was defined. The price. The price will be feasible to remain in line with the budgets of small businesses and people looking for growth, such as students or single mothers that need to have a resource to obtain their goals and objectives with a limited income. There will also be an option to have personal development facilitated that would go through the steps of the process and provide examples and how-tos in a large-scale event, and the estimates for those will be done at time of request. Finally, the promotion of the method is to begin with targeting staff development departments in an organization to be offered for their wellness programs. Implementation. In the client implementation, there was, I remember back into one of my first jobs I worked at, there was a sign on the wall that said, "The customer makes payday possible." And that really rings true. In saying that, the the first step in the client management is to choose the right customer. Then we move into be honest with that customer, under promise and over deliver, and have open and honest communication. And for the project management, we will use the plan, the purpose, leaders, actions, and needs. And then finally, the T&M method contains flexible with a little rigidity in the processes. The change method outline can be used across multiple organizational issues, along with issues that are seen from the individual level. Basically, the only requirement for the change method is to work is that the desired outcome is needed with the ability to provide the time and material to create the blueprint for your tomorrow. Thank you for your interest in the T&M method. If you have any questions, comments, or require additional information, please feel free to contact me at the email below. Thank you.